Hot-blooded, dun-dun-dun. Got a fever for 103. Hot-blooded, hot-blooded. Hot-blooded, dun-dun-dun. Got a fever for 103. Hot-blooded, hot-blooded. Alright, we're gonna leave it on that for now.
Then you've got like open relationship. Oh, you know, like I never knew it. But when the moderation is ideological, regardless, because there's a whole other yeah, there's over here.
I do like this. I don't really like ideology.
Here's the easiest way to start learning how to play real songs on the guitar. With Fender Play, you can learn essential.
Is Foo Fighters frontman Dave Grohl truly the nicest guy in rock? Well, some of his colleagues would beg to differ. Here are just some of the rockers who can't stand Dave Grohl. Upon their formation, iconic grunge band Nirvana went through a number of drummers prior to Dave Grohl securing the position in 1990. When Grohl first met Nirvana founders Chris Novoselic and Kurt Cobain, he was less than impressed, confessing to Q Magazine, "I remember being in the same room with them and thinking, what? That's Nirvana? Are you kidding?" While Grohl and Cobain shared an undeniable musical chemistry, Grohl would tell The Big Issue that their personal relationship was always a bit off and that the dynamic within Nirvana was highly dysfunctional. Kurt's drug use would only further strain their relationship, as Kurt's drug-related near-death experience in 1994 shook Dave to his very core. The profound sadness that Grohl experienced forced him to build walls between himself and Cobain. In a 2011 interview with Howard Stern, Dave confessed that, towards the end of their time together as a band, the sentiment within Nirvana was weird and split off. "I think at that point, it was important that we take a break. I think everybody felt that way," said Grohl. The world lost Kurt Cobain in April of 19...
Oosh. I feel like we're it. I think we're it. Alright, so what do I put this?
1994, and despite only knowing Kurt for 3.5 years prior to his death, Grohl says that he went through multiple lifetimes alongside Cobain in that short period of time. Though Guns N' Roses frontman Axl Rose was initially a massive fan of Nirvana, the two bands found themselves on opposing sides of the rock and roll culture wars in the early 90s, with Nirvana even refusing to tour with GNR and Metallica in 1992. Guns N' Roses was about to do this massive stadium tour with Metallica, and they wanted us to open, remembers Dave Grohl. but Nirvana didn't want to turn into Guns N' Roses. As animosity between the two bands grew, Axl began tearing into Cobain on stage, saying, "Cobain is basically just an effing junkie with a junkie wife." Their feud would erupt at the 1992 MTV Video Music Awards, where Dave Grohl recalls, quote, "Courtney was there, which never makes anything easier, so it didn't take much to blow up into a full-fledged showdown. Kurt and Courtney were screaming at Axl. Axl screamed back. It was all just soap opera BS." After Nirvana's televised performance of Lithium, Grohl would directly call out GNR by repeatedly screaming "Hi Axl" into the microphone. Following Cobain's death in 1994, Guns N' Roses would extend an olive branch by offering their condolences to Nirvana's surviving members. After Kurt died, one of the first phone calls I got was from Matt Sorum, Grohl told Jon Stewart on The Daily Show. He left a message and said, "Man, I'm really sorry, and I hope you're doing well." I thought that was really cool. These days, Grohl and Rose get along just fine, with Dave even letting Axl borrow the throne he used for the Foo Fighters tour when he'd broken his leg following Rose's 2016 foot injury. After the tragic death of Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain, his widow Courtney Love and former bandmate Dave Grohl were embroiled in a complicated battle over Kurt's estate. The feud officially began in 1999 after an appearance Dave Grohl made on The Howard Stern Show. When asked what his favorite Courtney Love song was, Grohl replied, "Teenage because I know she wrote it." When Courtney made an appearance of her own on The Howard Stern Show, she would claim that Cobain hated Grohl's guts. Then in 2001, Love blocked Nirvana's surviving members from releasing Nirvana's final track, You Know You're Right, which Cobain wrote a mere 3 months prior to his death. This ultimately led to Courtney Love filing a lawsuit for control of the band's legacy. Dave Grohl and Nirvana bassist Chris Novoselic would respond, saying that Courtney was, quote, "a complete alien to Nirvana's music and success, who is trying to prohibit the remaining members of Nirvana from any commercial exploitation of the music they created." The two parties reached an amicable settlement in 2002. However, in 2009, Love accused Grohl of hitting on her and Kurt's daughter, Frances Bean Cobain, going as far as tweeting that Grohl was carnally obsessed with Frances. However, she would deny these claims, stating that, quote, "Twitter should ban my mother" at the 2014 ceremony.